Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to my MGB GT. So this time I'm just going to have a bit of a catch up and a bit of an update on what I've been up to since having this car back from a bit of work done at CCK Historic. So after a fair amount of mechanical work, one of the things that I had done was to have the car lowered, so an inch lower also at the front and at the rear. But what I'm noticing is, and I think I did remark on it in my last video, that I'm getting a bit of rub on the tyres at the back. Now this wasn't noticeable at first because it was just me in the car and half a tank of petrol, but I took the car to the Goodwood Members Meeting a few weeks ago, and what happened was, with a passenger and a fuel tank of petrol, the rubbing on the tyres was actually quite bad. So I'm going to have to do something about that fairly urgently, I think, before I take it on any longer trips. And I've got a tool coming, but whether it will work on my splined hubs there or not, we'll have to see. And if I do roll my arches myself, I'll try and make a video on that. So as I mentioned, I went to the members meeting. The car, apart from the wheel rubbing on the arches there, the car was fine, got me down there and back, and it was a fantastic day actually. And I took a little bit of video footage, not too much, because I wanted to just really concentrate on enjoying it as my first time to the members meeting. So I put up a few highlights of my day now, just a bit of video that I took.
So that's something that gets ripped off and flies towards him, never mind anybody else. And I think Ben Collins is going to have to park it. He is. Yes, he's backed off. So Ben Collins comes to a whole real shame after the domination lap.
So as you can see, a fair amount of on-track action. It was a little bit wet, which made it quite exciting at the first part of the day, if a little damp, but it dried out for the rest of the day, and it was a really lovely day actually, quite similar to the Goodwood revival, just on a smaller scale. And the facilities were already good as well because of a smaller crowd. There's still loads of bars and places to eat and that sort of thing, so queues are really non-existent, and it was more of an all-access type event, whereas the revival you have different tiered passes and badges to get into various parts of the event, but the members meeting being a much more open event to people who are in attendance there. So I was looking forward really actually to getting my tickets for next year, which are on sale now, but the problem is that it coincides with a family holiday, so I'm going to have to miss next year's members meeting and probably try and get my family holidays planned better for the year after. So having this car back for a little while, one of the things I did do almost immediately after having it back actually was to replace the air filter. So if you remember from my last video, I mentioned that they did a dyno run of this car, and the difference between having an air filter and not having an air filter was around 5 horsepower, and that was because my old air filter was a bit sort of gummed up and dirty. So replaced it kind of like for like really, just with a new unit, just so it's nice and shiny in the engine bay, and that went on fine, just to make sure I'm getting the most out of the car. And yeah, it was more or less a simple installation, just a tiny bit fiddly on the kind of like ram pipes or stub stacks, I think they're called, on the inside of the air filter. The screws a little bit fiddly, it had to be put on in a certain order in order to clear the carburettor and put it on there. But yeah, not too bad. So what's next then? Well, as I mentioned, the wheel arch rolling, of course, but also taking it on a longer trip. So I've been trying to get this car out and about in the breaks and the weather. Like today's quite nice, so taking it for a little bit of a spin on my lunch break, just to get confidence really that it isn't going to break down on me. But a longer trip is on the cards hopefully quite soon. So as soon as I've kind of planned that out a bit and gone on it, I'll make that video and bring it to you. So I'm very excited to do that and actually get this car on a bit more of a GT, as its name suggests, rather than just kind of local trips. So yes, thank you very much for watching. Bit of a quick video today because I'm just on my lunch break, as I mentioned, and actually I'm going to drive now in this car to a farm shop which is kind of 3 or 4 miles in that direction to get a nice sausage roll for my lunch. So yeah, like I said, hopefully back soon with a trip in this car, and I'll leave you with some driving footage as I try and make the most of my lunch hour. See you later.